Hello, hello. Welcome to the Story Darlings podcast. I'm Sandra.
And I'm Tara.
And with us today is Audrey Goldberg Ruoff, who is a debut author with her book, Hopelessly Devoted. And look how adorable this cover is. Audrey, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
We're so excited to talk about this book and just your creative process. But first, this is your debut book. So what was the process like in getting this story written and out the door?
It was long.
Yeah.
It was a long process. When I was in 6th grade, my English teacher told me, like, hey, I think you could really write for a living. And then I waited until my mid-30s to actually sit down and finish writing a full story. So I've always been writing for most of my life. And I just finally, a couple of years ago, sat down and finished a story. And then I don't know how much you know about the writing process, but I had a couple of books that died in the query trenches, so that didn't get agented and didn't go anywhere. And this was actually the 7th full-length book that I wrote. And yeah, I think it worked because I allowed myself to put all of my weird special interests into it.
A labor of love.
Yes.
So you mentioned you started seriously writing in your 30s, you said? Your bio said that you were a high school teacher. So you're teaching English?
Yes, I was a high school English teacher for 15 years. This year I'm going into middle school. I'm actually going to be teaching 6th grade ELA, which is an exciting moment that kind of feels full circle.
Yeah.
Because that's when my spark for, I kind of want to write books happened. And it took a while to fan that flame, but I'm hoping I really love teaching high school, but I'm hoping to start a new adventure and maybe spark that love in some children.
Yeah. Did you grow up an avid reader at all?
I did.
What were your go-tos?
Oh, okay. So my favorite book as a kid was Ella Enchanted by Gail Carson Levine.
I love that one.
It's so good. And I'm just realizing now it has a curse in it. And so does the book. And that's probably influential. I also I would go to the public library with shopping bags, plastic shopping bags, and just fill them full of books, because this was back in the day before we had all the planet-friendly tote bags. So it was plastic bags, and you had to be careful because sometimes they would bust. But I was really into Star Wars books.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah, special interests.
Mm-hmm. With such a long career as an English teacher and growing up reading and adoring stories, when would you say was the turning point that you realized you wanted to be an author? Was it the same time that you started writing stories, or was there always just a little something in the back of your mind, especially 6th grade after the teacher made that comment? When would you say was that turning point?
When I was in high school, I actually started going into nonfiction writing. So I started doing school newspaper. And when I went to college, I studied journalism first. So I thought for a while that I wanted to write nonfiction and shorter form. But what honestly happened was I ended up just going with a friend to keep them company at an interest for teaching meeting, because she wanted to look at teaching. And I hadn't even thought about that as a career. And the presenter was talking about getting to talk about books all day. And I realized that I wanted to talk about books all day. So that's kind of why I became a teacher. And then I was talking about books all day. I was talking about writing all day. And I was modeling all this writing with my students and always having these conversations, especially with high school juniors and seniors, about it's never too late to switch majors. It's never too late to explore new things. And then I kind of sat down and thought well, why wouldn't I take my own advice and try the big challenge of writing a full book? Again, I had the first 20 pages of books that I had started on my hard drive. I had really wrinkled up papers of I had started a story and then never finished it. So it was kind of sitting down and coming home to a thing that had maybe been brewing in my mind for, I guess, a couple of decades.
Where did the idea for this book come from, now that you've mentioned it was kind of brewing for a little while? Is there a specific thing that started this one?
Okay, so I love the Addams Family. I have always loved the Addams Family. I was I loved to dress up as Morticia Addams. I remember, I think, doing it for the first time in 5th grade. We had a costume parade. I remember regretting that decision because it's a full velvet dress and it was hot that day in Maryland.
She's so glamorous, though. Yeah.
So glamorous. So I've always loved the Addams Family, especially because I feel like they are different and pushing back against putting people into little boxes and making assumptions about people based on what they look like or like what type of house they live in, how spooky or creepy they are in the case of the Addams Family. So I've always really liked that and felt like it was welcoming, and I liked that kind of like campy humor.
Uh-huh.
I'll admit that horror that's really scary is a little bit much for me sometimes, but I love that
Fair
Addams
enough.
like spooky, sparkly, scary. And then have you seen the show Pushing Daisies?
I have not. That's on my list.
No.
Okay, it's so good. It was a comfort show for me, and I was so mad when it was canceled. It was canceled a while ago,
Mhm.
writer's strike, and I think it was one of the things that just like fell to the wayside in that. But that show is about someone who can touch a dead body and bring them back to life, and if he doesn't touch them again in a minute, something else around him dies instead of that person. So he touches this girl that he was in love with like years and years ago to find out who killed her. And when she comes back to life, he's like unable to touch her again.
Ooh.
Somebody else dies. So first of all, he's willing to like not kill somebody, but inadvertently kill someone to bring back his love, and then he can never touch her again.
Oh.
It's very morally gray.
Yeah,
I
I
love
really
that.
love that kind of like dark and bright because the show
Mhm.
is really done. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. It's done in these beautiful bright colors. The costumes are so bright. He runs a pie shop and he's really cheery. And they have Kristen Chenoweth in the cast. She's not the love interest. She's like kind of the slighted love interest. Like she's interested in the main character and she just pines for him and he never really sees her that way. Well, not much.
Ooh.
And there's this one moment where she's singing Hopelessly Devoted by Olivia Newton-John, because when you
Mhm.
in your cast, what you do is you have musical numbers randomly. That's what you do. And she's cleaning the pie shop, and there's like a maintenance person in like waxing the floors, and it's like shot from above and choreographed. So they're like, it's almost like they're dancing, but he has headphones on and he doesn't see it. And it's this beautiful, weird, wonderful moment. And I thought, like, I really love this idea. I want to write a story like this. And I want to set it in a tea shop. And I want to take this love of Pushing Daisies and this love of the Addams Family and just kind of mush them together.
Yes.
And then I did.
And you definitely get that feeling reading this book. You have the dancing, you have the shop, there's a donut shop with really cute little flavors too, Tara. So it sounds like this little mashup of all these different influences on the book. What drew me was the title. You know, being Sandra growing up, I'd have those annoying kids in class. I would feel like they needed to sing Look at Me, I'm Sandra D, all that stuff. So Grease has a very special place in my heart. So that title is what initially drew me. And then it was just everything else that comes with it. I also got very charmed as well.
Because I love Charmed. So I'm
Oh
happy.
my gosh, yes, that was my show.
She also kept texting me and she's like, "I'm getting Lucifer vibes. I'm getting Lucifer," because
Yes.
there is a character that is very Lucifer-like, with his snappy comebacks and like just like snark, and I'm a snark person.
Yes.
Like
Oh, yeah, you
I
love
love snark. So there was a lot of snark. There's also a lot of puns in here, which I love. And I'm just like, okay, now I need like I go down rabbit holes. I'm like, I need to like figure out where that pun came from, like what this is meaning, like what's the secondary truthful meaning of this. So yeah,
Mhm.
I did like all of the little rabbit holes and I was trying to figure out what this curse was, where this came from, why. I also did pick up Morticia Addams and Az's mom a
Yeah.
lot.
Ugh.
I want to be magical so bad. I was telling Sandra, I'm like, I want to snap my fingers and be like
Oh,
the place that I want to be, right? Like, I don't want to be in a car ride. I don't want to be on a plane. But I also really want Priscilla's lipstick spell.
yes. So that lipstick spell is so fun. I don't know if you know this, but Priscilla is going to have a book coming
Oh,
next.
no.
There
And
is?
yes, yes.
Is it
Oh,
Priscilla and Evelyn? Like, can
No,
we? Okay.
it's going to start. Well, I guess I can't say how it starts. So it has been announced. I'm just trying to think about what I can say and can't say. It's called
Oh.
Vengefully Matched, and it is a rivals, almost really like
Oh.
enemies, but professional rivals to lovers.
I'm gonna eat that up.
Okay. Uh-huh. That feels more a Sandra book. Like
I'm gonna
we were just talking, this is more a Tara comfort book. Like Tara loves the like, I don't know, soft.
It's like small town, it's
Yeah,
intimate. Yeah.
cozy.
Mhm.
Where Sandra likes the like
I like
enemies.
feisty
Um
women,
Oh,
rivalries,
Sandra's our grumpy
competitiveness.
person, Tara's our like sunshiny person.
yes, you have a grumpy sunshine pairing right there.
Yes.
Yes.
Which
Azrael.
okay, I don't know if this is like I took great offense to people calling Azriel grumpy. Like, I don't feel like he's grumpy. Like, I feel like he's, like, more sad, more, like, whatever. I don't feel like grumpy to me, like, is mean, is, like, that old guy that, like, doesn't have a reason to be mean to people, but is still mean to people. And I don't think Az is that. I think he's just sad and, like, trying to make it through his own world.
I could see that.
So
Yeah.
angsty sunshine.
Very
Yes.
angsty.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard for me to pick, like, who my favorite character in this book was, but Azrael definitely, resonated with me.
I'm a
Yeah.
Prissy fan, like
You're
Priscilla.
prissy. Yeah.
Yes,
I could
she's
see
definitely
that.
quite snarky, so I can see
Yes, I
how
am.
your cup of
So,
tea.
okay, so I say that Sandra's the grumpy one, but I love grumpy. I am more the sunshine person, like looking at the like best in people, but I love the grumpy people and like the snarky and stuff. So, I don't know.
Like Wednesday. I
Yes,
started watching that last night, yeah.
I love Wednesday. I love her snark and I love just like the vibes off of her. Like that's not me as a person. I aspire to be that, I guess.
Mhm, mhm.
And I like to think that Priscilla is very much Wednesday, and so
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes,
why you like her so
I
much.
definitely get that.
Yeah, you mentioned the Addams Family influence and what that family represents. They do just kind of represent something different than the cookie cutter household, right? Like, I live in the middle of the suburbs. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're all the same here. The family very much spoke to me.
But they love each other. The Addams Family, they just love each other, like, enthusiastically and with their whole
And
Right?
wholeheartedly,
Yeah,
yeah.
I wanted that in this book.
And I feel like they love each other not for who they want them to be, but for who they truly are.
Yes.
Mhm.
And that kind of love is hard, right? That's hard to find and hard to practice, and I think this book definitely has some layers that are a little bit different from a traditional rom-com, and I love a traditional rom-com.
Yeah.
But I heard another author that I really love, Rachel Runya Katz, if you know them, call something a rom-trom-com, and I feel like that's a really good label, and I might add, like, drama too, a rom-trom-drom-com.
Mhm.
Something of dramatic that happens, and there's a little bit of trauma, but I think, like, real people are messy and
Mhm.
come to the
Yes.
table with trauma, and I like to believe that people like that, we deserve romantic comedy too, um,
Yeah.
and that's why I really love pulling the Addams Family into that and kind of playing with that.
Yes, I'll say that's one of the parts I really enjoyed is having Azrael's POV because, most of the main characters that I read, they have it almost kind of figured out. Things come easily to them. They always have kind of a sunny outlook on things. They're very determined, right? And when we meet Azrael, he's pretty hesitant. He doesn't really have a lot of confidence and he's pining. The angst, there's so much
Mhm.
and it's so well done. And so I just really enjoyed being in his space. I mean, that's what resonated the most with me out of all the characters.
Oh,
But
I'm so glad to hear that.
yeah.
Well, and I liked, like you were saying, that we kind of gloss over the bad things in books, gloss right over and, like, yeah, that affected them, but we don't see that effect on the person. And some of my favorite books have that effect showing and just straight out, and we're going to deal with the effects of this trauma. I liked that we didn't just gloss over his depression. We didn't gloss over the fact that he was suffering in ways that weren't just apparent to the outside world.
Yes. Audrey, you brought up love and how all of these characters they deserve to have their love. And in this book, what was refreshing to me is your book is releasing during Bisexual Awareness Week, right? The whole cast of characters represented queer relationships. And in my experience, all of the very queer focused books that I've read, it tends to be an exploration of coming out, right? Like that's kind of this major center point of the conflict is the coming out. And to me, it felt like you normalized all of these
Mhm.
queer relationships and there didn't have to be an explanation. There didn't have to be any of that conflict. The world just accepted them, which I thought was beautiful. And I think that added to the coziness of this book, right? They just got to be people.
I hope so because I kind of wrote it thinking that I wanted it to be realistic, but I wanted it to be our world, but a little bit nicer. If that makes
Yes.
sense. Like a little bit more magical, a little bit cozier, a little bit more accepting.
Yes.
And I wrote it, and this is part of the title too. Like, I have this infinite hope in me that maybe it's coming from, in some points, like a place of privilege, but I really do think that it's possible for people to accept and love others for exactly who they are. I want to believe in a world where that happens more than it does in our world. And so I put that in this book, and if at least one person reads it and looks at it and says, okay, like I felt seen for a moment in this book, that would make me really happy. It meant something to me as like a bisexual woman in a straight passing marriage to have this male female pairing in there. It meant something to me because I did get some feedback when I was first starting where people told me like that's not queer enough, or you need to like make it look a certain way. And I really didn't want to bend to any of that because I want to live my life in a way that my children and my friends and my family can see that I was authentic and I felt
Yes.
like I am enough and also not too much. And I've been an educator for so long and worked with like high school students for so long that I really want young people, and regardless of what, you know, any sort of interest group might say, like teenagers do pick up adult romance novels.
Mhm.
Yes.
Like you wouldn't believe, I mean, you probably would believe some of the things that I saw my kids in high school reading, not that I gave to my children, that they like brought in on their own from the local public libraries. Like a 10th grader told me about the book Neon Gods by Katie Roberts, which is a great book. But that's how I found out about that book because a 10th grader was reading that.
So I have a story about that. So I'm gonna let you finish like your thought there, but like I have a 14-year-old daughter and I'm gonna tell you one of the books she brought home.
I guess my thought is that it's really healthy to have books that show people of all ages, like, because adults too, people of all ages, that there's the possibility that you could be loved in this world. And there are people out there, maybe not everybody, but there are people out there that will see you for exactly who you are and love you for that, love you because of that. And I think having that in books is really important. And I am, you know, I'm a teacher, so obviously I'm going to say like I don't think we should be taking books out of children's hands, especially like teenagers, if they self-select and go and get a book that has high heat in it. Like that is a normal thing for a teenager to be thinking about.
Yeah.
Like that's a developmentally appropriate thing for adolescents. Not that again I would be teaching that in English
Mhm.
class. So that's not the book we were reading for class, but I support that kid in like reading that book in study hall. She was on top of all of her homework.
Yeah. Spoken like a beautiful human being and a wonderful teacher. I love that.
Oh, thank
So
you.
so my daughter has a group of friends that loves her as she is, like, and it's a beautiful friendship because each one of them has their own like little quirk and they just love each other. And I love that for her. But I took them all for her birthday to the like mall.
Mall.
And my daughter is very much I think she's gonna absolutely adore this book. She
Mhm.
loves, like, Alice Sonman or something like that, the, like, husband material what are the other ones? Heartstopper books, right?
Oh, yes.
She is, like, the cozy rom-coms, right?
Mhm.
I had to ask her one friend if she was allowed to buy a book because she came back with The Butcher and,
Butcher
like
version.
and I'm like, "I've only heard of this book, but I feel like this might not be appropriate for a 12-year-old."
Tara's gonna get a phone call from a
And
parent.
I'm like, "I really don't wanna get a phone call from her parents." So I asked her, I'm like, "Are you allowed to buy this book? Do you know what this book is?" And she's like, "Yes, my mom will allow me to buy any books that I want." I'm like, "Okay, so you can buy the book, but I am going to message your mom to let her know that you told me that you were allowed to buy this book, and if you aren't, you need to take it back, right?"
Yeah.
And she was allowed to buy the book, and I then just did borrow the book from her because it feels more like an
So
appropriate
funny.
adult a book,
Sure.
but that's okay. Her mom did allow her to read it. She is, very much allowed to do that, and then they came to my forensic science class later because apparently that is an interest of her, that is her quirk. But yeah, I had that moment that I'm like, "Are you allowed to buy this, like, very smutty, very, like, adult graphic murder
Sure. Yeah.
book. Is this appropriate for you? And I'm not your mother, so I don't get to, like, decide that, but, like, very, very much a, like, the world you want to be in this book
Yeah.
of they allow each other to be who they want to be, but also I was just like,
You did such a beautiful parenting move there, that like asking, like checking in and not assuming that like you know what somebody else would want for their child. And that just that makes me so happy and so hopeful, because I think, you know, part of the problem with what we're seeing with book banning right now is
Mhm.
people thinking that they have business controlling
deciding.
children's, yeah, other children's like reading. And I just, I think that's really sad that,
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, I am very open to my daughter reading whatever my daughter wants to read. Like, I've tried to get her to read Throne of Glass and all of these books, and I'm like, "You'll love it." And she would. It's just not what she, like, wants
Yeah.
to read at that moment. Like, she's very K-poppy, so she'll do the K-dramas and stuff too. She is opposite of me, like, I want the, like sometimes I want the dark, I want the, like, twisted, I want the trauma to
yeah,
show in a book, and she's like, "I don't want any of that," because I think she has enough in her life, but, like, I go to books to, like, make me feel better about my trauma and make me feel better about, like, the world that I'm, like, living in my brain.
yeah.
And she goes to books to have the sunshine that she doesn't experience in her brain. So I don't know. I think everybody goes to books for a different reason and they're cathartic for different reasons. So
Mhm.
I think
Yeah.
everybody should get to pick their books for whatever reason they want to pick their books.
And that's kind of why I love unabashedly loving romance novels, because I think sometimes people push back against that or try to write them off.
Yes.
But all of the research that we have about teaching reading and teaching a love of reading, not like squashing it out of
Mhm.
children, suggests that high interest reading is what gets people
Yes.
to read for their entire lives. Like, that's how you build a lifelong reader. That's how I get a kid to really pick up reading or improve reading if they're struggling in a classroom. It's not by telling them, here's a book that I love and here's what I want us to read. It's by helping them find whatever they love. And so I'm a big believer in like wholeheartedly liking what you like, not
Yes.
apologizing for who you are, but also not apologizing for like what sort of books you read, and not letting anybody make you feel inferior about romance books, because they truly are amazing and they contain multitudes.
Yes. And it sounds like in Hopelessly Devoted, you wrote the story that would have really resonated with younger Audrey.
Yes. I did put a lot of myself, they're all fictional characters, but Asriel's struggle with depression, his struggle with feeling like he's sort of like in between. Is he enough of anything? Is he not enough? That is all very like authentic to my experience. I
Mhm.
do struggle with anxiety and depression. And like Asriel, I live better through chemistry. And I want people to know that. I want people to be open about like mental health is a serious thing. And sometimes your brain tries to trick you into not wanting to be around or not seeing the world for its possibility. And when that happens, sometimes you need medicine to address it, just like you would if your heart tries to trick you into
Yes.
like stopping or struggling. So I think mental health and mental health treatment, both through therapy and through medication when it's necessary, were really important to me when I was writing this. And I really wanted to show that it wasn't like none of it is just as easy as like you're fixing it with a snap of your fingers, even though the characters can fix some things with a snap of their
Yes.
fingers. Just because it's hard doesn't mean that you can't get through it and that there aren't ways to not just survive, but really thrive.
Mhm.
I wanna call out the fact that you just mentioned that there are some things that they can snap and fix, and I wanna call out that there are some things in this book that you didn't allow them to just snap and fix, and I really appreciated that, and you mentioned the depression, but also, like, the COVID vibe
Mhm.
and, the death and not being able to just snap and fix. Because a magical story, usually there are like, "Oh, well, I'm just gonna snap and fix, and I'm not gonna feel these things, and I'm not gonna feel this trauma, and I'm not going to have to deal with the things that are happening in the real world." And I did like that we still saw consequences that we would have
Mhm.
in the real world, even though it was a magical world. So there were, like, this kind of disconnect between what magic could solve and what magic did solve in this book. And we still had to live through some of those traumas that we
Yeah.
would have normally, without a magical world, had to live through.
That was important to me. Thank you for calling that out, for seeing that, because we can't get through traumas in real life by pretending them away. And so I really did think a lot about this magic system. And there's a scene where the ghost of Azrael's father, or I think Vicky is remembering something that Azrael's father had said, which is
Mhm.
like heart family way of cleaning things up is like you can summon things that you need. Like there's a broken window and you could summon a pane of glass or some plastic to cover it up.
Mhm.
But you do like the sweeping, you do the cleaning by hand, and that was a really important part of their family dynamic growing up. Because I think that even in a world where if I had magic and if my kids had magic, I would still want them to learn the
Mhm.
value of like living through something and like taking responsibility for things. And I'd like to think that, you know, in a fictional world where there is magic, good parenting would mean that kids, like you said, they have to deal with consequences even if they have magic, that adults have to deal with consequences even if they have magic, because I think that's again, an authentic way to live.
Yes, there's triumphs in struggle. It teaches you to keep trying. Yeah.
Well, and I've been very honest about my struggles with mental health and
Yeah.
making it through and things. And so I read and I watch like even the newest Thunderbolts like Avengers movie, like I watched it with a different lens than I think the rest of my family did because have either of you watched that movie?
I have not.
So the villain in the movie, it was very much like those dark moments where your like suicidal tendencies take over and you just want to like end it. And that is what I saw the entire time the villain was taking over. And my family just saw it like as, you know, this villain that goes black,
Bad
right?
guy.
But like I could tell that whoever did that movie had been through a suicidal
Ideation. Yeah.
ideation at some point because it was coming through and because I'd been through that. So I think for this book, if you've been through some of that stuff, like it made me feel very seen when Az was going through some of the stuff he was going through. And so books are all different and for different people. And if you haven't been through that, that may have felt like too much or like you wouldn't see it in the same way as somebody who maybe has I don't know why I keep holding this up. Like it's my crutch at this point because it's sitting right next to me.
It's
But
beautiful.
like
Right? The artist did a
it
good job.
is. It is a very beautiful cover and I really do enjoy the pink too because that's my favorite color. So you might feel it different is I guess what I'm getting. And like I felt seen and I'm giving him a nickname. I'm sorry if you don't like my nickname for him, but I'm going to call him As.
No,
But
I think it's good.
I felt seen in that, and so I don't know what I'm trying to get at there. I appreciated that. I appreciated that we lived in that and that it was authentic to the struggles, and even though we read a lot about his struggles, that is what's actually going on in probably your friends' lives, like, that you
Yeah.
don't know that this is an internal struggle. Like, until I was very vocal about it and I learned enough to feel comfortable with myself and being very vocal about it, I don't know that Sandra or my other best friend David knew that I was struggling as much as I did. Like, I don't think anybody knew. Like, I don't even think my husband knew. He just knew, like, something was going on, right? And you might be thinking it's too much as you're reading that as a reader, but just think about the person sitting next to you might be struggling with that. And hopefully that
Mhm.
makes you more aware that this is a daily struggle that people are going through. My soapbox
Not
is over.
alone.
Sorry.
Yeah. They're
Um,
just not alone, right?
yeah.
Just
You're not alone. I really appreciate you sharing that because I think you are enough and not too much. And anybody else like who
Sorry.
has
Now I'm going to start crying.
uh,
well, anybody that's lived that, like I want them to see this because I want to tell myself that too, like that we
Hmm.
are enough and we're not too much. And yeah, I hope that people that haven't experienced that, if they read, keep an open mind to that could be telling you something about the people around you that
Hmm.
helps you to interact with them. But yeah, you're enough. You're wonderful.
mhm. I love this. In your book, Audrey, there's so many different characters with strong personality traits. I think anyone could see themselves in any one of these characters. When you set out to write this book, did you have specific people in mind, or did they just kind of come to life as you wrote them? Like, what was that creative process like?
They really like the main characters really like jumped into my mind kind of fully formed, and I have a very chaotic creative process. You know, I have 2 kids, so
Love it.
I'm writing like a little bit in the morning really early. For a while I was getting up and doing that. Sometimes it's late at night, sometimes like if I don't know, if I have a chance, if they're like they happen to be at like soccer practice, you know, I have like written things down on my phone at soccer practice. I don't want to admit to some of the things I've written, like types. I can't write a full. I can't like actually write on my phone, so I'll jot down ideas. But sometimes the ideas are like, "This is a grown up idea." Like let's have it. Uh, but this one, like, I just really, I felt as and Vicky right away. I like there was one day when I sat down and I wrote for more than 12 hours. I think it was like a huge chunk of time.
Ooh, that is,
Wrote
yeah.
like 17,000 words of this, which was too much. That was a too long hyperfixation because then I was so burnt from writing that I forgot the password to my MacBook and
Oh
hour on the phone with Apple support because I had written it in Scrivener, which is a program that like I think now it backs up, or like now I definitely save a backup, but it was just on my computer, not on the cloud anywhere, and I couldn't remember the password to the
Oh.
recently. But a very nice man on Apple support saved my whole life.
That had to
Thank
be,
you,
like, the
Apple
worst
support man.
feeling.
Yes, it was. I cried. I was just sobbing on the phone. This poor man who's so nice to me. Customer service is not dead. But helped me unlock it and reset it, and I got, Hopelessly Devoted as a book today because of that. Because I think, and I never wrote that much at one time again. That was too much. Like that was like
Yeah.
driving my anxiety too far.
Yeah, not sustainable at all.
No.
Mm-mm. So you've spoken a little bit about that creative process, and it sounds like you're just trying to take advantage of time, right? Most precious resource, just trying to make the most of it. So, what was the after writing it? So, what was the publishing process like? Because you mentioned that this was lucky number 7
Yeah.
that you had written. So what was the difference there? What was that publishing journey?
Well, publishing it, at least for me, it can go at all different paces, but it's been slow for me. So this book, I'm trying to remember the exact dates here. We sold it in 2023. So
Okay.
and I was writing it, I guess, in like very end of 21, 22. So it's been a journey. And there's a lot of writing advice going around that says like write the wait. So while you're waiting for one thing, write the next, which is how I ended up writing,
Mm.
7 books before one of them made it through all those hurdles. So basically my process is, if I'm honest, to worry about things a lot because I'm an anxious person, but
Can't help it.
to try to channel that worry into writing more things and making more weird art.
Mm.
Times that I was able to do that were like the easiest to get through that long publishing process for me, because this book, it did take a while, and then I have a wonderful editor and we did a lot of edits on it, so it's really been like shaped and molded carefully, since it was first purchased by Atria. And I feel like I also grew a lot as a writer through that.
Mm.
So I guess my writing process is trying and sometimes failing to appreciate like all of the things that traditional publishing throws at me, with wait time and, like all the things that my brain throws at me with anxiety.
Yeah. You mentioned is it a sequel book? So is this the book that you were working on after, finishing this one and getting it going?
Interestingly enough, no, though I did have this idea. It's a standalone companion, which means that it's in the same world, but you could presumably read Prissy's story first and then go back and read Hopelessly Devoted.
Oh.
Would just, I mean, it's a romance novel, so it has a happy ending. I'm going to spoil it. Like you would know that that happy ending happened, because it's set after Hopelessly. I wrote a couple other things that are just living on my hard drive with my agent.
Uh-huh.
Like maybe we'll see light later. Um,
Okay,
I
okay.
did have ideas for, like I do in my mind when I wrote Hopelessly, I had an idea for a story for Prissy and I had an idea for a story for Lex, who's that
Oh,
lovely gray.
I am
Yes.
foaming at the
Okay.
mouth for that one too.
Well, I have an idea for it. We'll see.
Also
Sexy Lexi,
From your
yeah.
lips to Simon and Schuster's ears.
Ooh.
also, I'm gonna throw this out here, like, as his parents' love story, that would be a
Okay, so I did write for myself on research like 40,000 words of what that was.
Okay, that's a commitment there.
So that, yeah,
Hmm.
that exists in my brain.
also, like, Vicky's parents, I don't there's something there, like, I can't put my finger on it because they feel very, I don't know, disconnected in some ways, but then there was a couple lines that I'm like, "Mm, do they love each other? Like, is it a love story or is it like, like I feel like there's more to that too that we
Yeah,
could like
they are
Mm.
terrible people, Vicky's parents, but I think like even terrible people sometimes find the
have a
good
love story, right? Yeah.
in
They
that.
created Vicky, yeah.
Yes,
There
yes.
She
there
turned
was
out
at
amazing.
some point like there's like an origin story probably with them of how they became terrible people, because they probably didn't start that way.
I like to imagine, I haven't imagined too much of their story, but I like to imagine for Benedict and Persephone, that's as his parents,
Mm-hmm.
that they actually really hated each other at first, and that they had like a
Mm,
rival grad school at
yeah.
enemies to lovers kind of journey.
Yeah, you had that line in this book teasing that it wasn't always easy for them, and that definitely got me curious.
So, and this is probably not what you pictured for Vicky's parents, but I pictured their parents forced them into this kind of marriage. And
Like
then there was
arranged.
yeah, an arranged, that's the word I was going for. And then there was like a love, like, or like however long love, and then an origin story of some way
Hmm,
to like terrible
interesting.
people. Because there was a line that like she mentioned when Vicky had just spoken with George, and the mom's like, "I'm not his wife,
Yeah,
and I'm not above murder."
yeah,
And I don't know
Which I
why, but
kinda
that
like, but
line, like,
also
hit me.
yeah.
I was like, I that would be what I would say to somebody, like, "I'm not this person, and I'm not above murder. Let's go." Um, and that hit me, like, there was love in some way,
I just
jealousy.
have limits too. Like they are terrible, but like they're not quite as terrible as the big bad. Uh,
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
layers there
Yeah,
to
I feel like
reveal.
there's some stories behind how we got to where we are in this story with them.
because real people have layers, and
Yeah.
Yes.
because I'm an English teacher and I've spent a lifetime now telling people to like really dig deeper into the characters, like
Yeah.
that it felt right to give them those.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, I
I'm excited to hear about all of these potential stories
we're
that you
we're
can
we're just giving you lots of homework here.
Yeah, no, no, it's okay. I love homework. You can count on Priscilla's story. That for sure will happen.
Audrey, now that you have these books going, in the previous 6 books that you published, is there any of those that you would want to
Well, I didn't publish any of those.
well,
Wrote.
if you could, is
Yes,
there
there are.
Mm.
There are. I will say, like it's you never know what happens in what's going to happen in publishing. The first one that I wrote, I want to say this on the record, is trash. It's trash, not like good trash, like
Hey, it's allowed. Yeah.
like, I went back and looked at it, and I was like, "Whoa, what was she doing?" And I say that because there are authors that I really love who have published these beautiful books, and it was the first book that they ever wrote. So I sort of want people to know that, like, you can struggle.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
it
yeah.
was your pancake?
It was my first pancake, yes. And I would still eat that pancake myself, but I wouldn't serve it to someone else.
Yes, yes.
Uh,
Yes, but there are some in there, because I write a wide range of things. I have some ideas in some books that are contemporary, no magic, and then I also love
mm.
lit like YA. So there's other things like simmering there.
Well, I read everything, so I yeah, anything you got going on, I'll pick it up and read it.
Yeah, Sandra is, like, ferocious in her reading, and I am over here struggling. I'm like, "I'm getting there. I'm reading. I'm doing it, slowly, but I'm doing
You're
it."
still a reader, Tara.
I am a
Still a
reader. I
reader.
love books. I love them. It's just I'm a little slower than Sandra is,
That
and
book does not mind. That book does not mind if it takes you a day or a year to read it.
I feel bad because Sandra's over here like, "I finished my 5th book." I'm like, "I finished 20 pages, Sandra.
God, you
I
make me sound
finished
so
20
annoying. I'm
pages."
so sorry. I'm apologizing now.
No, I love it for Sandra. I'm just like, I very much in, like, the anxiety and, like, I'm not living up to the standards, things, and
You
I'm
gotta
like,
stop
"I've only
compare
done
yeah.
20 pages. Oh, I needed to be faster." But
Like that though.
it I love
Sorry.
that for Sandra. I love that she loves so many books and reads them. Sorry.
I just like
I didn't mean to mean that as a
stories, and I
negative at
enjoy
all.
yeah, yeah. You know,
I was
it's
I
all
was
love here.
Pairings. You're an opposites attract reader pair. One of my sisters is like that. One of my sisters is also a really big reader. And we kind of like read everything together. She's the first person that reads all my books, but we also read the same romance books a lot, or like I'll tell her to read a book and I zoom through things. Like reading is my superpower. But she also takes a longer time, and it doesn't mean that she loves it any less.
Yeah.
And so I'll tell you what I tell her, which is that like the amount of time that you take to read it doesn't impact your love of the book.
I
Like,
get
Mhm.
I
okay, we'll
get
talk.
very distracted when I'm reading it. I have to I go down rabbit holes. Like I get very distracted. And Sandra, I don't know if you do that, but like she's just very quick at it.
I take notes. I
Yeah.
tend to note as I go, and then I dive in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
have a very procedural
she's very
brain.
methodical in her
Yes.
reading, and I'm very much squirrel. Um
I
I
love
love it.
that though. Both of those are so valid and so together, complementing each other.
um okay, and speaking of squirrels, because this is what I always think about when I'm like talking to
Here we
authors of
go.
books. This is my question that I end it all on. If you were to design a movie based on this book or like cast the movie really, who would your characters be? Like who is the person you're envisioning?
Okay.
So hard.
This is so hard because I sort of started with like a weird hodgepodge for some of them. So Asriel, I was really inspired by Lee Pace's Ned in Pushing Daisies, but he's like a little bit too old, but also tall enough and handsome enough.
Mhm.
And then I was also thinking like I love kind of like a Logan Lerman. Um,
Okay, yeah. Mhm.
Logan Lerman, but like Logan Lerman isn't quite tall enough. So like maybe like a cross of those. And if I'm honest, many of the men that I write are Adam Brody, like some version of Adam Brody.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I could
yeah.
I could
Okay.
see that. Like Adam could definitely play like a dad at this point.
Yes. So maybe
Uh,
like younger Adam Brody than for Az. I did have really specifically for the ghost of his father in my mind. That was Henry Cavill's Witcher. Um,
Yes. Yes,
Henry
yes.
gets cast in
Henry
every single
Henry
book, and
just
I
and
love
he's
it. I love that for him.
dad, and I have like a Henry Cavill pillow.
oh my gosh.
And
I love this. Oh,
Oh.
I
this is
was reading it this
amazing.
day, and it just said, "Happy birthday, Audrey. Love, Henry Cavill." And you can't tell me that it's for sure that it didn't come from him.
Yeah, I mean, we can't. It could have.
Yeah. So I for Vicky, that's hard. Like she is very Swifty, so there's like that Taylor Swift energy to her.
Ah.
But I was also listening to so much Fleetwood Mac when I was writing
Ooh, like a young
handling that. So it would have to be somebody that kind of fit both of those
I
vibes. There's like a pop sparkly, but there's also like this like soulful, like I would
flower child.
a flower child, and I also would like if you broke up with me, sing directly to your face in the
Mhm.
middle of the concert, and you would never get away from the sound of a woman that loves you. Um,
Mhm.
so there's like that edge to it that thinking about what you've said about her mother probably comes from her mother with that like I'm not above murder.
Yeah, yeah.
Because she has that like she's sparkly, she's sort of like got pop princess energy, but she has an edge.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm. Priscilla definitely. I was picturing Aubrey Plaza.
Oh, I love
Oh.
her so much.
Yes.
That is not who I was picturing, but I can see that.
Yes.
Like, I was going full Jenna Ortega.
Yes, because I thought about that too. Especially because Priscilla's story is kind of like for Wednesday Enid shippers. Those of us that are like those two would grow up
But
and get together.
but I also, like, there were points that I was picturing her as a blonde for some reason, and I'm like,
Well,
"Enid?
she's blonde.
Enid? Like, from Wednesday?" Like, I could see both because I don't know, she has that, like, gruff, but then there were points where she was like, the pranks and stuff, I could see her more bubbly and more, like,
She is.
sunshiny.
Yes. I love Aubrey Plaza.
Mhm.
Love
I
like
could I could see
it's
that.
Aubrey Plaza. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
She's a goddess.
She is a goddess.
Mhm.
And I was thinking of Lucifer the show when
Yes.
I was writing,
Tara.
and I was also thinking of the Darkling from the Shadow and Bone
I
series.
love
Oh,
Darkling. I'm a
yes.
Yes, if you
yes.
Yes,
like if
okay. Either one
you
of those is a win.
did you
Ben
read that?
Barnes or Tom Ellis.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
That's his vibe.
Okay, now I'm not gonna be able to read that the same.
Do you have anybody that you were picturing?
I feel like I interjected my picturing the whole time. Sandra, did you have anybody that you were picturing?
No, I really struggle with picturing people while I read. I guess it's just I know you always do that.
Yeah,
It's
I
just another difference with with
I
us.
have to have some like, I have to, like I don't know, like, I project the like, what I'm reading in my brain, so, like, I see it as the full picture.
Yeah, you have to pull that string in.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's like a TV show that my mind is creating as I'm reading.
I love that.
Yeah. You're also more up on just pop culture in general. I am a pop culture idiot, Audrey. Like, she will mention actor names and I just have no idea what she's talking about
It's
until I'm just yeah.
it's my squirrel moments because if I'm watching a show, I have to go find who that actor is and, like, learn
Oh,
all
I love
about
it.
their previous things, and, like, I can't just let it go.
Yeah.
It's
I've always loved squirrels.
It's my struggle, it's my struggle. I like, Justin, my husband, gets so mad at me because I will be watching a movie with him and be on my phone typing because I have to figure out, like, every little piece about it. He's like, "Can you not just watch the freaking movie?" I'm like, "I can't.
Ah,
I have to, like, know what's going on behind everything."
come on, husband. We've talked kind of around the books, different characters. I wanted to touch on the tropes for the book. So, Audrey, hit us with some of the biggest tropes that this book has.
Well, I'm going to say angsty sunshine now that
Okay.
we've clarified that Grumpy really isn't quite. I mean, he is a little grumpy, but
Yeah.
angsty is better.
It's a matter of perspective.
It
Yeah.
is a second chance romance. There is a tiny bit of miscommunication, which I know is a hard sell, but truly, this is a human thing. We miscommunicate. And I know often people talk about the trope that's like touch her and you die, but this is touch her and I die,
I like that.
which is
Yep.
my favorite one.
Mhm.
Made it up.
Wrapping up this episode, I kind of wanted to do a little fun game and take out of context things that you wrote into the story and kind of play it never have I ever style. If you two are comfortable doing
Ooh,
that.
okay. I don't know what this
Oh,
is, so I'm
okay.
down for
Tara's
it,
like,
but
this is new to me. No, these are things that I just,
There's
as I
like a
read them, you don't have to share if you don't want to. I can cut it out.
I'm
But
to do this.
okay. Question one, or I guess topic one. Never have I ever. And Tara, this was one of the beginning ones, so I had to throw it out there after last week or the week before. Never have I ever mixed up the names of Veronica and Victoria.
oh god. You had to I
I've
okay,
never.
so I did. I had a brain moment with an author, and her name was Veronica, but it was a very gothic story, and so my brain was just taking it Victoria.
Yeah.
And I did that throughout this whole one. I judged myself. I don't
I'm, so-
put the book
I'm
away.
sorry.
Put the book away, Tara. I judged myself the whole one. Every time we read her name in this, I was like, "Oh, I messed it up." So I did. I did.
You had that scene in there, Audrey, and that's where my brain went. It was like Tara a couple weeks ago.
Yes, I definitely did.
I haven't mixed up those two, but I did while writing it a couple of times accidentally switch Priscilla and Persephone, which is really bad because
Oh, yeah.
that's the sister, Azrael's sister and Azrael's mom. But I think I caught those thanks
It'd be
to
really bad if it was during like a
yeah.
Ooh,
a
yeah.
a
But
special
that's
time with the parents and
like
you put the daughter's name in there and
Ah,
then people are like, "What the heck is going on in this book?"
copy editors are worth their weight in gold.
yes.
Because it wasn't one of those times, but there was like a switcheroo that a copy editor caught for me, and I just appreciate that person so much.
Mm.
Because I do switch names. I am both a teacher and a parent, so I've been very guilty. I'm trying to think if I've ever had any Victorias because then I'm certain I would have accidentally, if there was a Veronica in the class, like sometimes switched them. But I have been guilty, maybe this is terrible, of calling my kids on occasion like my dog's name or my dog, my kid's name.
Oh,
Yes.
I think that's a
It's
common
like
parent if you have
I don't
dogs or multiple kids, because
Yeah.
my kids I've called the wrong name too. I'm like, "Which one are you?" And there's a
Exactly.
boy and a girl, so they're clearly different people, but I'm just like, "Oh my god, I don't know who I'm talking to at the moment, but come here."
Yes, it's not anything personal. It's just your brain switches. So yes, I guess. Are we putting fingers down for this? Never have I ever. Or are we just like
um,
Oh.
I guess. Okay. Okay.
are you putting your finger down too? Are you playing? Or are you?
Mine are up.
Oh, you've never done that.
I haven't done that.
Okay.
No.
No,
Second
Sandra's good.
one. Good, quote unquote. Never have I ever gone skinny dipping.
Oh, I have done skinny dipping now. Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Never have I ever kissed a girl and liked it.
I have done that too. Yes.
Never
Okay,
have I.
Sandra, my fingers are doing the weird thing. Like, I cannot get this one to, like, stay up when I like, it's
I for
weird.
sure. Yeah, my fingers are also being weird. I for sure have done that, and like a younger me has done that and been like, "This is what friends do. This
Yeah.
is okay."
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
That is pretty gay to kiss a girl and like it.
Never have I ever stepped foot inside a haunted house.
Okay, I'm losing.
Like a beach haunted house or like actually?
Like a haunted
Like, something that was
destination
supposed to
thing, like
actually be really haunted. Yeah,
yeah,
I
yeah.
like the switching back to the finger that, like, doesn't
Yeah,
look
my
weird.
pinky was like shaky.
Yeah.
It didn't yeah.
Hmm, hmm.
Sandra, you've
Okay.
never been to a haunted house?
No, I've wanted to. The Crescent Hotel,
Like,
I've been wanting to go to that.
yeah, it's like 30 minutes away from where you live. Like, one of the most haunted
Tara,
places
I am a hermit, okay?
in the
It takes a
world. Like,
lot for me
so
to get out.
okay, so when next time we go to Arkansas, you have to come with me and Carly because Carly really wants to go to that.
Okay.
My daughter has things that I love so much about her, but she is her own little person and she is very weird.
Hey, weird's
She
good.
is very
Weird is
much a
wonderful.
Wednesday, but also
Yes.
an Enid at the same time. She's very chipper, but also gothic, and I love her
Feel
to death.
yeah, I feel that.
Can I
I
She's
just say I'm happy that you guys aren't, like, having your middle finger up right now at me, and it's the
Ooh,
pointer
I did not
finger.
even think about that, but
Yes.
that would have been a much better,
No, 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 thank you, I appreciate that. Never have I ever worked as a teacher or instructor.
oh, that was
can we do 10? So, like, I still have 5 fingers over here?
I mean,
How many more questions do you have? Because like, now I'm
well,
out.
we finished the game,
Okay,
Audrey.
okay.
Yeah, Audrey.
I
It's
was
all in
like,
love.
do I get to answer any more questions, or am I
No,
just
I
out? Like,
do.
how does this game work?
No, I mean, I have one more question that's very story related that we could all answer, I guess. It's these items that hold special value to people. So, do you have a possession that someone would bring to mind, like you, the essence of you?
I think we all have well, I think most people would have like more than one thing that are like
These are
really
like our
respectful.
Horcruxes.
Yeah,
Ooh, yeah.
I have a it's like, a cookie jar that was my grandmother's, that I got after she passed away, and I just remember that, like, really sitting on the table at her house when I was younger, and I have it now, and it sits, like, front and center on my counter, and it seems like kind of, you know, insignificant if you don't know the history of it, but I think that that would be
I
it.
love that.
It really reminds me of my grandma. I don't even use it for cookies. I put, like, packets of instant oatmeal in there so I can swap them in the
Yeah.
morning. But it's the jar, not the
Yeah.
containers.
Oh, I love that.
How about you?
I'm like even trying to I ask a
I
question and I'm like,
It's a hard one, but a good
I
one.
don't I'm trying not to answer the one that just came straight to my mind, which is
but
my phone, because, like, that thing
My
is
much
on
for you.
me all the time, and, like, everything I do, it's like my life, which
Sure.
sounds really bad, but, like, I put all of my notes in there, I put all of my, like, symptoms, I put all of my, like,
Like,
it
sure.
yeah, it, like, keeps me, and I feel like that and I got another one, but it's not really an object, but it's, like, like, my children,
Yeah.
oh, that's a sweet one. Yeah.
because, like, I have a lot of shit, but, like, none of it is really meaningful to me. Like, it's just there for a purpose, you know? Like, it wouldn't be, like
Yeah. I know what you're
I
saying.
agree. Yeah, that
my bed, I that's the thing that I truly like, if you are looking for me, I'm in my bed, like
Comfort.
yeah.
Yeah.
My electric blanket maybe, like, that would probably be like, my husband would be like, "This is the thing she loves the most in the world." But I feel like none of those are the same, like, kind of meaningfulness that the items in the book were. I don't know that that would work the same way. I'm just not never gonna be talked to again if I go to Ghost because I'm not like, nobody's gonna have this item for me. Sh
that's okay. Maybe you're at peace. Like,
Yeah. For me, I'd probably say my glasses. It's just like who I am. It's my personality.
Oh,
I've been wearing
that's
them since like fourth grade, earlier. They were god awful and ugly back then, like, pink and
mhm.
blue, and they curled around your ears and
Oh, yours don't curl around your ears still? Like, mine
no, I
do.
mean, they went all the way around, like,
Oh,
wrapped around.
oh,
Those
okay.
things were not falling off my face. Yeah, I would say
yeah, I can
eyeglasses.
I used to be a big glasses wearer, but
Yeah.
both of my kids were grabby babies,
Yep,
so I
yeah.
still have the habit
Mhm.
of contacts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I love that element of the story though. Just these very symbolic possessions that had the power to summon them. That's also an element that reminded me of Charm too, because you
Yeah.
had the sisters and their Graham. Mhm, mhm.
Agree with that because I loved Charmed so much.
Yes.
Um, and come to think of it, Cole was probably a little bit of inspiration for Lex there too,
I
Uh-huh.
see that.
Mhm.
I see that.
which
Yep.
like, maybe I wasn't even consciously doing, but I just loved him so much.
Isn't
So
that funny?
Cole was
Yeah.
my favorite too.
I know the show is complicated, right? But I just loved him so much.
Yeah, I did too. Audrey, it has been so wonderful just chit-chatting with you and talking about your creative process and your upbringing and your stories. Where can our listeners find you if they want to learn more and pick up a copy of your book?
The best place to find me is probably on Instagram. I'm just at Audrey Goldberg Ruoff. And then the book should be hopefully wherever books are sold.
And it comes out today as this episode is being published, which is September 16th.
Yes.
So go get the book. Are there any plans of doing it audibly or
Yes, there is an audiobook also releasing today on September
okay?
16th. The narrators are just incredible.
Wait, narrators plural?
So we get
You
one
get
for
oh,
Vicky and one
okay.
for
Yay. I love
awesome.
that. And then when can we expect the companion novel? And what was that one's title?
So, Vengefully Matched is Priscilla's story, and that one is slated for fall 2026.
Okay, and are you
Amazing.
saying matched as in MATCH or mashed as in mashed potatoes?
Not mashed potatoes.
Okay.
I feel like the mashed potatoes are the only kind of potatoes I don't like, and I know that's a story for another day, but matched with a T.
Okay, okay. Because I
Oh,
was
that's
like, well,
funny.
it could be like a restaurant and like a punny name for a restaurant like that serves potatoes or something. And so I was like, okay, what way are we going with this?
So it's
No.
matched, like striking a match.
Okay.
This one has big death becomes her vibes,
Ooh.
both the movie and the Broadway, and Sabrina Carpenter's Taste music video.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I was about to say I also had Sabrina Carpenter somewhere in here
Yes,
in like
yes.
casting. I think that's where like when I went blonde for Prissy,
Oh.
that's who I went is Sabrina Carpenter.
I would think Sabrina Carpenter would be more the love interest in
Okay.
Vengeful.
Okay, okay.
Okay. Awesome.
So fall next year. That's what we can expect. Audrey, thank you so much for coming on the show and talking to us about Hopefully Devoted. We
Hopelessly. Haha, you messed it
hope
up.
what I say? Hopefully?
Hopefully devoted.
Is that the first time I said that
Yeah.
during the episode?
Yes.
Okay. So you would have corrected me if I would have been going through the entire episode calling it
I
the wrong word.
I would have.
Put a finger down though.
Yeah, now I have to put my finger down because I jinxed myself. I cursed myself. Thank you for talking to us about Hopelessly Devoted to I can't talk. Audrey, thank you so much. And maybe we can chat with you again in the future. Maybe next year. We shall see.
Well, thank you so much for having me, and I'd be happy to chat.
No, this was such a delight. All right. Thanks for listening, everyone. Bye.
Bye.